Hi, welcome to my channel, My Great Wall of Manga. I'm Amanda, and I've been in love with manga for well over a decade. In fact, I even built a wall out of it. On this channel, I'll be pulling a series off the wall at random, and we'll go over a quick summary, introduce you to some of the main characters of the series, and I'll give you 5 reasons why you should read this manga. Okay, so we're going to be looking at Shaman King, Volume 1 and beyond, but mostly just Volume 1. The story is about Yo Asakura, a young shaman about middle school age, that moves from the countryside to the big city to complete his shaman training. Though Yo Asakura is the main character of the series, he's not actually the person narrating the story. That's Manta, Yo's best friend. Manta meets Yo on his way home from school, from a cram school, and he's trying to hurry home late at night, and so Manta has a brilliant idea of cutting through a cemetery as a shortcut. Well, when he does, he sees Yo in the middle of the cemetery stargazing, and Yo invites Manta to stargaze with him, and Manta's not interested. He wants to get home, it's late at night, and he kind of sees Yo as a nut. When Manta goes to reply to Yo, he sees that Yo is surrounded with ghosts, and he kind of freaks out. He screams and runs home. This is Manta's first time seeing ghosts, and he is not exactly happy about it. Well, a manga anime trope, the next day, Yo shows up at Manta's classroom as a transfer student. And when Manta freaks out again and says, tells all the other students that this is the guy with the ghosts, Yo's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen you. I have no idea who you are. And he totally throws Manta under the bus. So, yeah, their friendship gets off to a rocky start. They do eventually become friends. And that's more of over Yo defeating Wooden Sword Ryu. Yeah, Wooden Sword Ryu is a bad customer in the first volume. And he kind of beats the crap out of poor Manta. And so Yo decides to get revenge. And so that's how they become friends. After Yo defeats Ryu, he tells Manta that, he's actually a shaman, and that he can integrate or be possessed by ghosts and use their power. And there's a competition to see who's going to be the next Shaman King coming up, and he's training for that competition. Now we're going to take a closer look at the actual characters in the series. First off is Yo Asakura. He's the main character, young shaman, and his personality is super laid back, super chill. Nothing really stresses him out too much. His best day is just chilling in nature, listening to his music, and not stressing about anything, including his schoolwork or his training. I mean, one of the reasons why he wants to become the Shaman King is so he could have the easiest job in the world, where he doesn't have to do any work. So he's a little on the lazy side. Manta is like the polar opposite of Yo. He is very high-strung, very energetic. He flips out super easy, and he is like a straight A, very dedicated student. He does his homework, he always does everything he's supposed to, everything is by the book. In fact, Manta is so by the book that he even carries around a giant dictionary with him, just so he can make sure that he's right about everything all the time. Yeah, he's definitely not like Yo. Next up is Anna, which is Yo's fiancée. Now, she's not in Volume 1, but she does come later on. I think you first see her in Volume 2. And Anna is a taskmaster. She is there to keep Yo on his schedule, keep him training, and make him the best person he can be, which is the Shaman King as far as she's concerned. And she doesn't take crap from anybody. She doesn't take it from Manta, and she sure doesn't take it from Yo. And she seems really harsh and at times very cold towards Yo, but when it comes down to it, she's doing all of this for Yo's goals, so he can be the best person he can be. So in the end, she really does care about him a lot. It's just that, you know, she has a rather harsh way of expressing her feelings. Next up is Amita Maru. Amita Maru is the first ghost that Yo integrates with in the series, and he is a legendary swordsman. And he is very impressive. Yeah, he knows his stuff. He has amazing skill. He's very strong. He makes for an extremely strong ghost for Yo to integrate with and to be his spirit partner. The one little thing about Amita Maru is, though he's like a super nice, swell guy, he's also a bit of a meathead. He's definitely not the smartest ghost in the world, but he's super loyal. Next up is Wooden Sword Ryu. Wooden Sword Ryu in Volume 1 is the bad guy. He is not a nice person. I mean, he beats the crud out of poor Manta. I mean, to the point that he has like a cast and a sling for his arm, and Manta is like the size of a toddler. I mean, it's almost comical how baby-like and tiny he's drawn into the story. And Ryu, he's like an adult. He's got a beard, he's the size of an adult. He's supposed to be like a 12th grader or a senior in high school, but for all intents and purposes, he looks like an adult, and he had no problem with beating up poor Manta. So, yeah, he's not a nice person, but he does grow, and he does change, and eventually, it's a long time coming, but eventually he does become a good person. But in Volume 1, he's the bad guy. And last up is Ren. Ren is kind of scary. He comes in right at the end of Volume 1, and he is like your, garden variety middle school serial killer. If somebody annoys him, he has no problem with killing him. None at all. Now, granted, much later in the series, we get more into Ren's background and why he's like this, but that doesn't change the fact that he is an extremely violent and dangerous kid. And the part where he's violent and dangerous, that never really changes during the series. He just goes from being a really terrifying and awful person to being a slightly more understandable but still kind of awful person. I mean, he does end up working with the good guys, but it never makes him less violent. Now we have 5 reasons why you should read the manga Shaman King. Well, for one thing, it is a really good manga. Super fun, lots of action. If you like shonen manga, you're gonna love this. But, I mean, the actual reason one is that it's a solid shonen manga that follows a lot of traditional shonen style story. And so, like, if you like Yu Yu Hakusho, Naruto, any of the Dragon Ball series, Hunter x Hunter, you're gonna really like this series because it'll fit right in with that kind of story. Next up, reason 2 is the art style. It's very contemporary. It still looks like shonen art style with the spiky hair, the very angular facial features, the extremely boxy, angular eyes, but it also has a kind of tattoo art style or graffiti art style. So if you really like that kind of aesthetic, then you're probably going to really like the art style in Shaman King. Number 3 is the characters are interesting and they have depth. I mean, you definitely see that with like Wooden Sword Ryu, where he starts out being the undeniable bad guy, but over the different chapters, he evolves and turns into, in the end, kind of a really good guy. I mean, very loyal, very dependable, honest. He changes significantly over the series, and that is super fun to watch. Number 4 is very well drawn fight scenes. If you want to see a lot of really impressive artwork involved with fight scenes and like action poses, this is the manga for you. Granted, it's not as over-the-top ornate as some manhwa like my in-laws are obsessed with me. That manhwa has phenomenal backgrounds and character pose scenes that, if that's what you're really looking for in artwork, you should totally check that one out. And number 5, if you like Hunter x Hunter, the buddy fighting tournament style stories, then you're gonna like this. If you like Toilet Bound Hanako-kun for chibi ghost style artwork, you'll also like this. If you like Soul Eater for kind of goth, zany wackiness, then Shaman King is definitely the manga for you. That's about it. That's my quick review of Shaman King, Volume 1 and beyond, and thank you for joining me. Thank you for visiting my channel, My Great Wall of Manga. If you're interested in anime too, please visit my website, animehanabi.com.